Hi everyone, we're back for day 2 of math, and I want to apologize for yesterday's video. There was an intro of me saying hello, and I'm so excited to see you and do math with you in my kitchen. Um, but after I recorded the video and tried to upload it to YouTube, I realized it could only be 15 minutes long, and mine was actually 25. So it kind of ended abruptly and started with me going right into computational fluency. So I'm going to try and make this video under 10 minutes today and make sure that we still get through our content. So the first thing you're going to do in your notebook today is the same as yesterday, divided into 3 parts. So we don't need as much space for the top and we don't need as much space for the bottom. Okay? And the first thing we're going to do today is our computational fluency pieces. And so you will need to write down the date, the numbers 1 to 10 with no reversals, the time, an addition question, a subtraction question, and then choose any 2 Canadian coins and add those together. So I'm going to go through that with you really quickly. And for the time, you're actually going to find a clock in your home. And for the addition and subtraction questions each day, you're going to be able to make up your own, as long as they're double digit, okay? So the very first thing is the date. Today is Tuesday, April the 7th, 2020. My next job is to write my numbers with no reversals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can take your time and do it nice and slow and make sure that you're printing those really, doing the best that you very can. The next part you're going to do is tell the time. So if you've got an analog clock in your house, you're going to tell the time with it. And I already looked at my clock and saw that it was 3:30. And so I know the hour is 3 colon and then 30 minutes. My next part is to do a double digit addition. And so today I'm actually going to do 33 plus 33. And the strategy I'm going to use today to solve that is doubles. And so I know right off the bat that 3 and 3 is 6, which is actually 30 plus 30. So I'm going to write down 30 plus 30 equals 60. And then in the ones column, 3 plus 3 is 6. And 60 plus 6 equals 66. So I was able to add those 2 numbers up in my head really quickly because I was doing mental math and not using my fingers. The subtraction question that I'm going to use is going to be, we're going to use the same strategy as yesterday, and that's counting up or adding up, so that we're not subtracting huge numbers and trying to use our fingers. So the subtraction question that I'm going to write down today is 26 take away 22. So instead of me drawing 26 things and then crossing off 22 or trying to use my fingers, I can just count up what the difference is between 22 and 26. So I'm going to say 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So the answer is 4. And with the inverse relationship, 4 plus 22, does that equal 26? Yes, it does. So I know that my answer is correct. And last but not least, I'm going to choose 2 coins and add them together. And yesterday we forgot to write the equation, so we are going to do that today. So the 2 coins that I'm going to choose today is a 10-cent coin, which is also called a dime, and a 1-cent coin, which is also called a penny. So 10 cents plus 1 cent equals how much? So my actual addition statement or equation would look like this. 10 plus 1 equals, and we know that's pretty easy, 1 more than 10 is 11. okay? So once you've got all of your computational fluency stuff finished, then you're going to move on to your problem solving part in your notebook, which is next. So yesterday, I'm just going to bring this up to remind us, we started gathering data, and we took a survey, and I'm not sure what your survey is about. I won't find that out until Friday when I see your work uploaded. But you went around and surveyed your family about something and found out some information. So I'm going to use the information from yesterday to create a line plot today. So before I do that, I just want to talk about what a line plot is and the success criteria behind that, okay? So when we talk about line plots, the same as a bar graph, the same as a pictograph, they all have titles. So my line plot needs a title. So I'm going to start by drawing a line here so that I don't forget to write my title at the top of my line plot graph. The next piece that's on the line plot graph, you'll notice, is there actually is a line here and a line here. And we call that the y-axis and the x-axis. So I need to draw that first, and if you have a ruler, I would suggest doing it with a ruler. And if you don't, then do your very best to draw, your y-axis and then to draw your x-axis as straight as possible. Okay, so once I've got that part of my graph set up, then I can think about what are the numbers that I need to have on my y-axis. Now, I didn't have that many people that I surveyed. I only surveyed 3, including myself, and so I know that really the greatest number on my line plot is going to be 3, and my smallest will be 0. So on my y-axis, the numbers need to be between 0 and 3. I'm going to do 0 and 5, just so that we can see the range, okay? So I am actually going to draw some little tick marks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to label those. So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, can you see that? So once I've got my y-axis done, then what do you think would go along this x-axis? If I'm graphing the data from yesterday, and yesterday what we wanted to find out was what would you like to do the most today? The answers, bike riding, movie, and board game, those are the choices that are going to go along my x-axis. So at the bottom here, this first line, I'm going to write bike riding. And then over here, I'm going to put some space between those. I'm going to write movie. And then over here, I'm going to write board game. Okay, so my next job is now to actually plot the information that I collected. Okay, so yesterday, if I look at my graph, or my survey, sorry, 0 people wanted to go bike riding yesterday, I think because it was a little bit cooler outside. 1 person wanted to watch a movie, and 2 people really wanted to make sure that they got a board game in. So when I plot that information on my line plot graph, I'm going to do it in a different color just so that you can see where those go. So 0 people wanted to go bike riding, so I'm going to put an X right there, or you can do a little dot, okay, but we're going to plot the information. And 1 person wanted to watch a movie, so I'm going to go movie and 1. And then remember how we come together, and that's where my mark is going to go. So that when people look at my graph, they can read 1 person wants to watch a movie. And maybe we should put a label here for people, right? So people in my family are what these numbers actually represent. Okay, and then how many people wanted to play a board game? 2. So I'm going to try and line that up as best I can. And if I have a ruler for this next part, then I could use a ruler to actually draw these lines. And we can see, just by looking at our line plot graph, what activity most people in my family wanted to do. And we can do that really quickly. We don't have to count or add them all up. We can sort of see and analyze the data. This plot is the highest on my graph, so I know right away in my brain that most people would wanted to play a board game. This plot is the lowest on my graph, so I know right away that the least amount of people wanted to go bike riding. So last but not least, I still need a title. So what should I name this what should I name this graph? And I'm thinking I will name it family activities. Okay, so now I can read my graph and I know what my family would like to do the most today for an activity. And last but not least, for consolidation, what is this graph telling us? So same thing, thinking about the words same, least, most, more than, or when I compare these two together. And was this type of graph the best for showing what my family would like to do today? So you're going to write those sentences down here in your consolidation box, and you can show an adult and see if they understand the line plot graph that you made. Okay, so good luck and get to it in your notebooks today. See you tomorrow.